Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Shushi's Legacy and how you can play Shushi's Legacy in 3 different ways. We're looking at a standard build, which is a Pro Scouts build. We're looking at a water build, which is incredibly strong, and you should learn it even if you don't play water, because it's a good way to start. And then we're going to look at how to play around the tax system, and then getting to the feudal age without having to gather any gold. That's a good way for us to defend against stuff like Dark Age and aggression and towers and such. So stick around for that at the end of this video. If you have any questions about the builds, ask them in the comment section below. And the builds themselves are transcribed in the description as well, where you can follow along the macro tab and whatever it is that you need to do. So enjoy. The first build we're going to take a look at is going to be the Shushi Pro Scouts. Shushi Pro Scouts is the most essential way to play Shushi at the moment, and a lot of other civs as well have to focus on Pro Scouts. So you're going to have a lot of Pro Scouts matchups. We're going to talk about how to play that out. We are looking at a special opener where you take some wood and you open up on the mill, and then you are ferrying the deer there. So you play out the feudal age, focusing on the deer. And then your goal is to get to the castle age, and then you can play knight and shogunus, or you can play horseman crossbow, siege, if that's what you feel like. There are a lot of options. If you get a lot of relics, you can also decide to play 2 town center and go into the long game. That is up to you. But those are our goals here. I'm going to show you now the opener and how you get started on Pro Scouts as fast as possible. Basically what you do is you take your 5 first vills, and then you're going to go and build a mill with the 50 wood that you gather from the first round here. Let's call it that. You're going to have 2 more vills coming out the TC, so you go up to 7 on food. And in the meantime here, you're going to be checking if your opponent is Dargish rushing you. I'm going to explain that more later in this video. So you take the 50 wood, you build the mill, you position your sheep in a way where it's not towards the TC, to the side or to the front here is better, so that the villagers drop off on the mill and not on the TC, because we want to generate tax, of course. Then you can take your sheep, put them close to the mill. You can have the new vill kill them if you want to. And then you just supervise the mill before they drop off, and you'll get an extra 10 wood. That's really nice, because the 10 wood is a little small boost. It's more essential for Chinese to do this, but it's really good for Shushi too. You might as well do it because you've got an Imperial official. Now, with 7 on food, we're going to go up to 4 on gold, and then we're going to go back to food after. So we can speed it up a little bit here. We're going to build a village immediately. Notice that you are pop capped now. So because you're pop capped, it's really important that you should get started on the mill as soon as possible. It takes 20 seconds to make a bill here, so you have about a 3-4 second buffer. I'm not going to say 5 seconds, but 3-4 seconds is good here. So just get started on it immediately. What you can also do if you have a gold like this is you can put the mill, the village towards the gold, and then you can use the village as a sort of teleporter. It's pretty cool. Scout the opponent, and then with the newly built village, you can then rally onto gold and then immediately click G, because they will prioritize the village, and then you can click D again, and they will eject out of the village towards the gold. Really cool. It's just important that they are assigned to the gold. These are some small micro things that you can dabble with, but they're not important. So don't sweat this. It's cool if you can do it, but it's not necessary to playing Shushi. So you're going to go up to 4 on gold. You have 7 on food. You do a drop off here at about 2 minutes, because then you know you have 40 gold. And this is what you really want to be good at, which is sort of just taking the Imperial official, managing it, especially when you only have 1 or 2 of them. Take the official, grab the gold whenever you have 40 inside of the lumber camp or the mill, and then keep inspiring, or supervising I should say, the drop-offs that have the most amount of villagers gathering. That means if you have more on wood, you should probably supervise wood over food. But if you're on deer, you're going to get more per drop-off, so that's also really important. Then, at about 2:25 here, we are going to take 2 food vills, and we're going to go and find a spot to build our meditation garden. I really like to prioritize stone, because it helps me if I want to go to Castle Age. Then I can get some defenses on my gold. A tower I can upgrade for the stone that I got for free. This generates passive resources for us. This is not a particularly good meditation garden. Other meditation gardens would be better here. For example, double gold is nice, together with a little bit of berries. You don't want to go too far on the map, all the way out here, because it leaves you vulnerable, especially if you haven't scouted the enemy good enough. You could also put it here, or I could have put it here. That would have given me gold and stone. But I like to just prioritize stone. So the way you can go around this is just to scout around your base before you're aging up, so you know where your resources are. All right. So what did we do after? Well, we split up 4, 3, 4. So 4 in food, 3 in wood. We gathered the straggler tree until we had enough wood to build a lumber camp. We kept the 4 in gold over here because we're gathering for pro scouts. We are gonna go up to about 7 on wood now. And the 7 on wood is what we're gonna need for pro scouts, where we need 100 wood, and for stables. So yeah, you can do a drop off, you can take your Imperial Official, and if you want to be really effective, you can micro that guy in between them and do forced drop offs, and that can be a good way for you to maximize profit here. Just keep scouting. Now you also want to scout your opponent. Are they going to open up with a mill? Potentially gathering a lot of gold, then it's going to be a pro scout versus pro scout. It can be a good idea to make a little bit of a few extra scouts, because then you can contest scout versus scout. But you can also just go straight into barrack, and then you're going to be fine. You're now aged up. Take the 2 aged vills, put them back to food, and then now you want to get pro scouts in queue. This is going to take 30 seconds with supervision. We also need to get a stable, so we're not in a rush to get it that fast. It takes 1 minute and 15 seconds without supervision. So get the wood you need. You do see a little supervision back and forth here. Take the gold. And then we want to build a stable. Comes out here. We queue up another Imperial Official at about 4:30. And then we can start making a lot of scouts. Just start by taking your safe here. Don't forget to use this set automatic drop off target on your mill. Take the deer. And then go back to your base. Now you got your second official. Always supervise the drop off points where you have the most amount of villagers. That's going to be your food and wood here. And you start taking deer. Now's a good time to scout your opponent. Figure out, are they going to open up with a barrack? Are they going to open up with a stable? In either case, you're going to have to go for units. If they go and open up with a lot of units, go Spear Shuginu. That feels really good. Otherwise, you can go for a barrack and a tower maybe, and just go fast castle. You also have the option to go for palace guards, which is also a good counter to spears. So if you see them opening up with a barrack and stable, maybe just go spear and palace guard. That's a good way of countering that. If you see them going with an archer range, you already have a stable, and you can make a couple of horsemen get control of that. But don't overproduce, you want to get to castle. You can also make a tower, because as you can see now, we have gotten the stone we need to upgrade with hand cannon slits, which is a nice 25 damage per shot. So, be sure to contest the deer, and then go up. When the deer come back, you want to take your villagers and start gathering from them, because they have a way higher gather rate. Sheep are slower, the deers are faster, plus you carry more, so you get more out of every drop-off from your Imperial Official. We have about 11 on gold. We have a tower. We can upgrade the tower with hand cannon slits if we need to. Though if your opponent's not going aggressive, you don't need to prioritize that. If you're floating a bit of gold here, like I am, you can get some upgrades. So I get wheelbarrow and forestry. That's a good way of balancing out your eco without having to move your villas too much. Yeah, and then remember to have an official going back and forth, getting all the resources. The goal with this whole build is not to get the fastest possible castle timing. The goal is to secure food and then go castle so that you can actually do something. Because the problem with the previous build was a lot of people would just sort of go castle, have no food, and then die. And that sucks if you're up against something like feudal aggression. Here, this feels a lot better. Yeah, I'm remacroing a bit now, going with 11 on food, a little bit more on wood. And then I'm going to go into units after. I go Shell and Monastery, because I want to take relics. You can also go for Mount Ru Academy if you're up against somebody who goes greedy early, because then you can produce a lot out of just a couple of buildings. And that can be a really good way for you to lock a game down super early. It's a good way of also using all that deer income you have, because we get a lot of food. But yeah, just take the Shaolin Monk, start taking relics, start making units as well. Here I'm going for knights. I'm upgrading my spears. And then I'm going to start going a bit heavy on wood in a moment, because I want to use more units. I'm going to make a blacksmith, house. I'm taking the relics. Then use the units aggressively, especially the knights are good because you can always pull away. Watch out with the spears, they're slow. Your ranged armor if you're going to go aggressive, and just make sure that you're getting all the upgrades. Here we got the the tier 2 the wood upgrade. There we go. And yeah, it's a good idea to get those upgrades. Should probably prioritize fertilization though, because I have most of my bills on food. So, little correction there. Archer range. Start making crossbows, shugunu. So yeah, that's how it goes. There's not much more to it. Now is when you make a decision. If you got like 3 or 4 relics, feels really good. Get a second TC, play defense with knobs is a great way to play Shuji. You can also play more aggressive, play heavy cavalry and crossbow Nesta B. It's also really good. Nesta Bs are absolutely broken right now, so go for them, use them, and yeah, if they get nerfed, then just play around it. Yeah, that's my best advice. So yeah, let's get into the next build. The next build you want to be learning is going to be the Shu Shi Water. So Shu Shi Water is really, really strong for the same reason as Pro Scouts is strong. You got Imperial Officials giving you extra drop off. You've got Meditation Garden giving you extra resources for emplacements, for demos if you go heavy on gold. And a lot of these water maps also have some pretty resource rich spawns like this. So Meditation Gardens can be extremely strong. So what are you going to do? Well, we're going to go for a little bit of a complicated opener. And the complicated opener involves a little bit of micro here early on with the villager. You want to be very careful if you want to maximize your outcome here. Again, you can sort of chillax a bit if you are not really big on that. But if you practice it, you can get some good results. So what does it look like? Well, you're going to, of course, queue vills. You're going to queue those vills onto the sheep. Then you're going to take all these vills and click them on a straggler tree. But you're not going to keep 5 vills in a straggler tree. You're going to only keep 3 of them. 1 of them will go in the sheep. 1 of them will go in a dock. So just when you open up your vills, right-click the straggler tree, and then start microing the individual vills. So what do? You take the vills, you take 1 to sheep, and you take 1 to the water side. Then what you're waiting for, as you're building the dock, and these are gathering wood and food, is monitoring this villager until you have 10 food, so that you know that you can get the drop off when you build the lumber camp. So when you have 10 food, you just take all, and you go to the lumber camp. Then you supervise the lumber camp. So it's the same as the mill opener. This time, you're just doing it with the lumber camp. So just like that. 10 food, and 30 wood, supervise the lumber camp, and then you'll be well on your way to get a fishing boat and a house. You're just going to rally onto food. Then you go on a straggler tree. Try to make it so that they're all gathering from one straggler tree. And then when they drop off, you can queue up a fishing boat. Really cool. That's it. That's end of complications. So, you rally until you have 4 in total on food. Then these have dropped off and you'll queue up a fishing boat. Then you want to go up to 4 in food. You want to go up to 6 in wood. Then 1 to gold. Then rest to food. Again, this build order is transcribed. It's in the description of this video. Now you want to build a house. And then your fishing boat will come out. You will have your rally point to wood. Just like this. You can queue up another fishing boat in a moment, so you can do a drop off here. Just like that. Get another fishing boat in queue. The reason this build is so good is because you get a lot of fishing boats very quickly. A lot of Shushi builds have very rough beginnings because ideally you don't want to start with an Imperial Official, but this type of build is sort of the best way to maximize on your starting units. So you have your official, and that official can very early start collecting gold. This is why we prioritize the lumber camp. Now with 4 on food, and 6 on wood, and the 2 boats here, we can now send 1 villager to gold. These guys over here are going to drop off all of the wood in a moment, and then you build the mining camp. Try to build the mining camp when you have 10 gold. So, 10 gold, build the mining camp. Then it's about 2 minutes, and we want to take gold from our tax. So we get the 40, that's the maximum carry. And now we rally back to food, so just keep that 1 villager on gold. Then here at about 340, we're going to be aging up. We're just going to continuously make fishing boats until we have about 6 boats. 7 is also fine to go up to, but you want to get started on military production as well. So now just rally sheep until you can age. Then you're going to age up with 5 villagers, so you can control group them like this, so you're ready to pull them. Yep, you want to get another house. You can also skip on a boat and get a village, but I do like to get another fishing boat, so go up to 7. If you're going to stay on 6 boats, you can get a village. So that's how you want to think about that. Build the house. Do the drop-off. That's really important to manage that. You want to get as much gold as possible from dropping off here, from this villager, and then we can just pull in a moment. So 340, we're going to pull our vills, and we want to already know where we want to build our meditation garden. I want to build it here because I get 2 golds. I get some stone, and I might also almost get some food. I don't here, but almost. So meditation garden is touching the stone, double gold, feels really good. Then just take off food, and then go on wood. Stick with the 1 on gold, and then you can re-macro in the fuel age. So in the fuel age, you want to have about 2 on gold, you want to go heavy on wood, and you want to pretty much just be relying on these fishing boats for food income. So here, I went with the house, which means I have enough wood to go for another boat. Again, if I went for village, I would only go with these 6 here, because then I can make an archer ship no matter what. These 5 here, they will go back as well to wood. 1 to gold, build a house, and go with these onto wood. Get an archer ship immediately in queue, so you can start applying pressure. A lot of the times on a map like this, it can be hard to find your opponent. They're usually opposite you, not diagonally. So, for example, here, our opponent would most likely be down here. We can see they spawn very normally here. This is not typical for Archipelago, as it doesn't have very even spawns. But the good thing about this build is you can use it on other maps as well. It doesn't have to be Archipelago. You can play it on 4 lakes as well. You can play it on Lakeside. And have a good time in all of those maps. So, now, rally onto wood. Take an Imperial Official. And then start taking gold with that Imperial Official. Just have the other one supervise the wood. Because that's where you have all your drop-offs. And then, build a second dock. Make sure you have a warship. So a Springle ship coming. And if you have a really good opening and you're already on your opponent's boats and you're pressuring, you can go for a demo now. And the demo ship can be a good way for you to take out the first warship when it comes out, because the way you counter an archer ship and a warship is by making a warship, so a Springle ship. I'm sorry, that was complicated. Whenever I say warship, I just meant Springle ship. So, archer ship and Springle ships. Second dock, you want to just keep up producing as much as possible. And as you can see here, we're starting to float a bit of wood. The way you balance out the wood and food is by taking your wood floats and building fishing boats with them and more docks. So that you can always rally wood and you will get more and more food by just making more boats. You want to rely purely on deep water fish because it is the most efficient resource. Then you want to make sure you also get double products and then build a mill eventually so that you can get a wheelbarrow. Those are the most important upgrades. So yeah, that's pretty much the build. It's really, really strong. It's very hard to execute. Practice it, especially the first 2 minutes, the first minute. Because once you have that down, it's pretty simple. You just got a macro. And then you will be able to pretty much win any full water map just because your build is so strong. So yeah, this is one of those builds that I'm very proud of. Taking good inspiration from some of the highest level players. So use it. It's free. Yeah, let's get to the next one. The last thing I want to talk about is how to defend against Dark Age pushes, because some of the hardest things when it comes to playing a civ like Sushi is an early delay, right? you get a spear rush or tower rush on your golden wood, and so all of a sudden you're all out of balance. You want to get started on your pro scouts. You want to get a game plan going, and you don't want to be playing a game where it's all dictated by your opponent. And so something like Mongol Tower Rush can be incredibly annoying to play against, but you really just want to take it chill, and then you want to go with this approach. So you open up the same way as you did before, with 7 on food. You gather the first 50 wood, and you build your mill, and you do the supervision, just as I showed in the first part of this video. But then what you're going to do is you're going to do a little bit of a tax trick. And this is what it's all about. Because we can essentially skip out on a mining camp and gathering gold out here 100%. The goal with the tax trick is to get to the feudal age and be able to produce the units that we need to defend, to get a setup going, and to get into the feudal age at a comfortable pace. We don't want to be stuck in Dark Age making spears. There's sort of 2 ways of going about it. We are either going to be going into the feudal age, and if our opponent got the tower up, we can build a barrack, build a bunch of spears, and then burn down the tower. But the best way to really go about it successfully is to head into the feudal age, get Shuganu, and then shoot the villager that builds the tower, which means you have to delay the tower. So monitor when your opponent's building the racks, when they've sent the vill, and when they're building it. Then, in the meantime, do this thing here, where you're always dropping off with the vills like this whenever they have like 1 food, because every drop off equals 1 tax, whether you're carrying 10 food or 1 food. They will drop off enough gold for you to age up. So just keep dropping off back and forth like this. Do it again. And again and again and again. Until the mill has enough gold. Then you can do tax collection. And you can build your meditation garden. Now what I'm looking for is to get vision on the enemy tower. They're usually building it around now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gather wood. Then I'm going to go check out, is the enemy building the tower here, which is what I'm expecting. And then I can burn it. So as we can see here, our opponent's building a tower. They have spears coming. They usually make 5 spears. So a tower takes 1 minute to build with 1 vill, which means if you see them building it at 3 minutes, you know at 4 minutes it's going to be up. And it's a good idea to pull your vills at about 30 seconds into the build. That's when it's halfway done. So about this far, you have pulled as many vills as you have available. You just want to have enough wood and enough food so you can make Shuganus as quick as possible. So I have vision on the tower. I pull my villagers. And if you lose 1 villager, it's okay. If you lose 2, then it starts to hurt. But if you lose 3, yeah, then it's no fun. So yeah, just play around it. And don't lose your villagers. So here we got a reset, which is really nice, because we're actually able to go and build an archer range very soon. We do another villager pull here. Whether that is necessary or not is debatable. I don't think this one was essentially needed here. I have a little bit of a pathing issue. I think I lose my vill here because of the charge, which is unfortunate. But I defend, and I don't lose anymore, and then I'm fine. I have an Shuganu coming, and then it's defended. So, get the Shuganu out, then you can defend. They will have lost a lot of time. You might lose 1 vill, but it's okay. What we're going to do next is we're going to use the Shuganu. Just going to make 1 of them. Then we're going to go on gold, and then we're going to start working towards Pro Scouts again. What's really important when you're playing this defense is to not lose vills, to then get back on track. What you wanted to do, play your civ strength. There's no point in going castle now or something when your opponent is in Dark Age, because you're better off just using this advantage you have to take the deer on the map. So this is a little bit about playing Shushi when people like to shut you down early. Again, if the tower get up, what you can also do is you can get a barrack, make 8 spears or something, and then burn down the tower. They all do 10 fire damage, and the tower has 750 health. And so if you have 10 spears, it's only 7.5 attacks, right? So it's quite quick that way.